get my show on the road.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strives lawfully. Now, the example that the Apostle Paul is giving right here is like how you have people who are athletes. That's where, when you look at the Greek word there for man, is where you get the English word athlete from. And that's why he says a crown. A crown is usually like you get when you are playing a sport, you get a trophy. So the analogy that the Apostle Paul is giving is when an athlete is in a competition, he doesn't get an award or prize or crown unless he plays lawfully according to the rules. When you play basketball, you cannot run with the ball, you cannot double dribble, you can't travel. You're not supposed to foul people. There's all kind of rules. You're not going to win unless you follow the rules, is what the Apostle Paul is saying. And he's using this analogy to communicate how we're supposed to be in this walk. We're not going to win the prize, which is what? The incorruptible crown, salvation, unless we follow the rules. Now, let's just take a look at that Greek word right there when it says lawfully. This has everything to do with keeping the Mosaic law. Watch this. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, let me share my screen. Okay, 2 Timothy 2 and 5, when it says, if a man also strive for masteries, yea, he's not crowned except he strives lawfully. Look at the Greek word there for lawfully. Nominos. Strong's G3545. Which means a law. But look at the etymology of it. Strong's G3551. Look at this. Nomos, which means what? Of the Mosaic law. So when it says because using an analogy of an athlete to communicate something spiritual, what would this mean? We're not going to win the prize unless we keep the law, which is the rules that we have to follow. Those are the regulations that we have to keep in order for us to win the prize. This is what the Apostle Paul is saying.
All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shem Al Shabbat, Shem Chakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone, the men who taught us this truth. And as always, peace and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And before I do my response, I'd like to start off with a scripture. And this is the Apostle Peter. And it is written, wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of them in peace, without spot and blameless, and account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. Yet therefore, beloved, seeing ye know these things before, beware lest also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. So, I just want to start off with that, because this is definitely a severe case of being unlearned and unstable in the understanding that you'll take, some of these epistles, some of these writings, which are contained in the scriptures, and butcher it into your own destruction. See, and it's funny because as much as they like to give Paul shit and, challenge the authority, the apostolic authority that he had, they would go in and try to interpret an exhortation that he sent to Timothy, who was his son in the spirit. Basically, Apostle Paul brought him in, like a father, to a son. Basically, Timothy was his work in the Lord, so he was like a father a spiritual father unto Timothy. He raised him up in understanding, taught him, and then when he got on the level, he even, had him circumcised. But it's interesting that they'll be the one to interpret, what he was exhorting to Timothy, even though they don't really rock with Apostle Paul like that. And of course, they would interpret his words, to suit their narrative, because these are the Sakari, and the Sakari, they were one and the same, with the Pharisees. The only difference is, they were more radical, and they moved carnally. They were about the revolution taking down, Rome, and they was even, hoping that even some of Yahushai's followers would unite with them to help take down Rome. But that's not how Yahushai and his followers got down. All right. So anyway, you heard Hassad, all right, which, this guy, I don't think there is, you know, no hope for this guy. I could be wrong. I speak as a man, because we used to give him the benefit of the doubt at first, but now, just based off of, how he's moving, this guy, he's gonna harden his neck. All right. He's really a carbon copy of Alizar. He's Alizar Jr. Yeah, Alizar brought him up and taught him everything that he knows. So, he's not gonna he's not gonna fall away from whatever Alizar taught him, or Alizar taught him. So it is what it is with this guy. But now I have to come in and give the correct understanding. Now, Elder Apostle Ramlap already addressed that particular scripture, because he came on his comment board sometime last week, as Apostle was streaming live, and he actually asked the question, what does he think uh 2 Timothy 2:5 actually mean? And he said, I say this humbly. So the apostle, he saw the comment, I shared it, with him, and he saw the comment, and he actually addressed it. But obviously, it wasn't going to stick with him. He was just asking so that he can spark more debate, so that they can go back and do their video. And we're dealing with rebellious children, man. But this is part of the condition of the battle, man. This is what Yahushua had to do. He had to strive, against sinners, man. He had to deal with the contradiction of sinners, that pretended that they were righteous. So anyway, let's deal with it. All right, because obviously they didn't understand what Apostle Paul was addressing. All right, now when you read at the top of the chapter, 2 Timothy, the second chapter, well, this was exhortation to Timothy, and he's exhorting him on the mindset and the attitude that one must take or have when dealing in this truth, walking in this faith of ours. All right, there's a certain attitude that we must have in order to persevere for the Heavenly Father. Because, hey, the scriptures say, Yahushua said, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we got to endure all afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, and it comes with conditions. It comes with a set of rules, and knowing that we're going through a spiritual obstacle course where we're being met, with all type of manner of temptations, battling the flesh, battling spirits, dealing with corruption. So this is not a easy walk. The Lord said, those that strive to enter must enter in at the straight gate, which is a path of difficulty. So in order to endure that, you got to be real strong. So let's go into it, man. This is 2 Timothy 2, In verse 1, it says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua Mashiach." Now, real quick, because I just thought about something. There's a scripture, real quick. Because upon his exhortation, he said to be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua Mashiach, right? Let's go to, is it John? Or it might be Romans. Yep, John. John chapter 1, verse 17. It says, "For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua Mashiach." All right, and now that was just off the top. That was the first scripture that I thought about after I read that. So he said to be strong in the grace, which the grace and the truth came by Yahushua. Before Yahushua, we had the law. The law was a schoolmaster to bring us to Yahushua. And now the righteousness that is required is set apart from the law. Now it's based on the grace whereby we have faith. All right, when we believe on the Son of the Most High. And yes, we rehearse the righteous acts. We are to, strive to keep the law to the best of our ability, knowing that we're not justified by the law, because we're going to fall short as long as we're in this flesh. And we've been saying that, since this whole controversy started. All right. And those dudes, they're not going to budge. That's it's embedded in their spirit. It's already seared with a hot iron. They fully believe that the law is what's going to save you. The law is pretty much going to give you the victory. If you really analyze what they're saying according to their interpretation, and then they even went into the the Greek word for lawful or lawfully, and then they went into the origin or the root word of it, and they only came straight to one definition. They ignored all the other definitions and went straight to the Mosaic law, because they hold the law over Yahushai. You see, they're saying the victory, to be crowned with everlasting life is through the law, not through Yahushai and his grace and his mercy. All right, that's pretty much their breakdown. All right, you anybody that's going to strive for the masteries, you won't be able to get that crown. That crown that Yahushua is going to place on your head, and those palms that he's going to put in your hand, and in the white robe, that you're going to be arrayed with, the wedding garment. You're not going to receive none of that unless you keep all the law. That's how they're interpreting what Apostle Paul said. So anyway, let's go back. This is 2 Timothy 2, verse 2. It says, "And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also." All right, and that's we constantly speak this word, put this word out, and those that listen and follow, they're required to do the same. That way that this word can spread, because this gospel must be preached, in every place among all nations, and then shall the end come. All right, it says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach." All right, and we're dealing with being strong. This is the point. This is the point of his exhortation. He's encouraging him to be strong. Have the fortitude, and it takes a certain mindset or attitude to endure it. We're dealing with hardship, okay, and we're soldiers, so that means that we got to man up in this thing. Gird up thy loins now like a man. It says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life." So we have to have the attitude of a soldier that he's pretty much his mind is only fixated on getting through the battle, basically winning the battle, basically winning the war. All right, and we war a good warfare, man. Which most of it is spiritual. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual, unlike other men. So we don't get entangled with the affairs of this. We don't get wrapped up, in the aspirations of this life. Yahushua said, any man that shall serve me shall deny himself, take up the cross, bear that cross, and follow me. And it's going to be a bumpy ride, right? So we don't get involved with, the cares of this life, the affairs of this life, man. All right, the hell with your, with with your family, and you put the ministry first. Not to say that, you completely cut them off, but this ministry and this faith of ours come first. That's to be prioritized over anything of the flesh. It says that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And you've been enlisted into the Lord's army. This is the tabernacle of David, man. And a soldier, he does whatever is instructed by his commander, right? And it says, so now you have to have the mindset and the attitude of a soldier, but also you got to have the attitude of an athlete as well. And that's what the next verse is going into. It says, and if a man also strive for the masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully. Now, what does this mean? They went into lawfully. They didn't hesitate to go, into the word, and then, you know, oh, the Mosaic law. See, it says it right there, so that's what that's talking about. No, you got to examine this, because this is the same Apostle Paul that said that we will not be justified by the law in his sight. This is the same Apostle Paul that said, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law. So what are you saying? This is the same Apostle Paul that said, with his flesh he served the law of sin, but with his mind the law of the Most High. He acknowledged that he has sin. So you're going to tell me that a man who acknowledged that he sins, he strove lawfully according to the law, the law of Moses? And this is what happens when, when pride sets in. Like, I went into it, dealing with Captain Tazaryak. When you read Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter, it tells you how the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. Because you're not coming in a genuine spirit, man. Dudes is puffed up and proud. Wisdom will not enter into a malicious soul, man. And these dudes, they're getting worse and worse. So anyway, now all you got to do really is, when you go into these other translations, it makes it more clear what Apostle Paul actually meant and what he was saying. Let me refresh this. All right, 2 Timothy 2 and 5, and I'll read it in the NLT, the NIV, the ESV. I'm gonna just read these. NLT, it says, and athletes cannot win the prize unless they follow the rules. In which Hassad, he broke that down, you know, because you have to have the attitude of an athlete if you want to, persevere, because you're only looking to win, man. If you in the NFL, you looking for that Heisman. All right, you in the NBA, you looking for the MVP. They're trying to get you a ring. Uh, if you're doing Olympics, you're trying to get that golden medal. If you in boxing, you're trying to get the, whatever weight class you in, you're trying to get that belt. All right, it's the same thing, man. And so that means that you're gonna go through a lot of hardship. You're gonna go through the training process. You're gonna have to condition yourself. You have to learn to take pain, weariness of the flesh, build your stamina, your endurance. And it's uncomfortable. You gotta abstain from pleasure. You gotta be disciplined. Those are the things that you have to utilize in order to achieve the goal of being a successful winner or being victorious. NIV, it says, similarly, anyone who competes as an athlete does not receive the victor's crown except by competing according to the rules. All right. Basically, the rules, it just represents, the conditions of the battle. You know, you're dealing with all the conditions within this contest, you know, and preparing for it. Okay. All contests has conditions and boundaries within it, and you got to play accordingly. These guys think that he was talking about the law of Moses. All you're gonna do is burden yourself, man. So let's get it, more precepts to build more understanding to it. All right, let's go to First Corinthians, the ninth chapter. First Corinthians 9. First Corinthians 9 and verse I'll start at verse 23. It says, "In this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you. Know you not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize?" Because hey, we're entering in at the straight gate. It even tells you that in the Apocrypha when you go to Second Esdras, that the path is so straight and narrow that only one man at a time can pass through it. Each man that passed through it and make it to the other side, you're gonna be crowned. You're gonna get the victory. Second Esdras was it 7? Second Esdras 7 and 6, it says, "There is also another thing, a city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once." All right, that's how difficult it is, man. And that's why you have to keep your eyes single. That's part of the rules. One of the rules is keep your eyes single. Yahweh Shai said that, you know, and we know that the eye is the light of the body, man. But you don't want nothing to offend you and to pull you away from the duties, from the path. If your right hand offend thee, cut it off, man. If your right eye offend thee, pluck it out. Meaning anything that's going to be a stumbling block and get you out of the way, you might want to get rid of it. Okay, so this is not an easy walk at all. This is basically an obstacle course. All right. So anyway, going back to the scripture, it says, Know you not that they which run in a race run all?" And he's using the illusion of the track and field in the Olympics. So Apostle Paul, he was into sports a little bit, because hey, he was in the he was living under the Roman Empire, and we know Jake ran sports world back then, just like they do now. All right, but he's comparing that and using that as an analogy to our walk in his faith, that we gotta run, man. It's a run of an endurance. The race is not to the given to the swift, right? It says, "But one receiveth the prize," and that's the mastery. The prize is what? The crown. You trying to receive that everlasting life. You trying to receive that honor and glory and legacy, right? So run that you may obtain. All right, keep running, man. Keep going. Go through it. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Meaning what? You're gonna master yourself. Okay. Meaning what? You're not gonna be brought under the power of any. You're not gonna let something, be a stumbling block to you. You're gonna put yourself under subjection. That's what that's. Let me real quick. Let's go to First Corinthians 6. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 12. And it says, "All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any." Because even in certain things that are lawful, you can get lost in that, and that can pull you away. All right. So that's why you have to master yourself. And we in the flesh, so we're battling, man. All right. You know yourself better than anyone else, besides, of course, the Heavenly Father. Okay. You don't want to be brought under the power of anything. You don't want to let anything consume you. And these people in this world, they're consumed, with all type of pleasures, carnal, fleshly desires, man. All right. So it says, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things," meaning he's moderate, right? Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. Because you had men that was trying to be, self-righteous. They wanted the praise of men. They were seeking their own, honor, their own glory, right? But we are incorruptible, okay? Meaning what? We don't want the praise of men. We want salvation. We want everlasting life in the kingdom of Yahushai, man. Everlasting rulership. All right, because like it says in 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, the things that are seen are temporal, but the things not seen is eternal, and that's what we're striving for. It says, "I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air." Like a boxer that just shadow boxes. As soon as he get in the ring, you know, because he doesn't have a lot of confidence at all, and he didn't work on his game. So he just thought that, maybe, this will work if I just throw a few combinations in the air. Maybe that'll get me through. And as soon as you step in the ring, you have a very high chance of, getting it, you know, getting the shit knocked out of you. All right. You don't want to do that, man. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. You can, do all that prophesying, but you can get overtaken in the flesh, and everything that you was out there speaking goes out the window, and you become a damn reprobate, a reject. So this is what Apostle Paul meant, man. If you trying to get if you trying to get that win, learn to master yourself. All right, fight the good fight. Fight the good fight of faith. Even he said, "I have finished my course. I have fought the good fight of faith." Man, he did what he was supposed to do. He got persecuted. All right, he caught shipwreck. He was slandered. He was in prison. He was beaten. But he did whatever it took to spread the gospel. And that's how we're to strive. And then we can't forget who is the champion, who's the pioneer of this uh, uh, obstacle course, who went through it for us before we had to, and actually got the victory already for us. Let's go to Hebrews 12, because at the end of the day, we have Yahweh Shai to our example of how to get the mastery. Yahweh Shai did it the best. But these guys, they'll tell you, no, no, just keep all the law. Wear your fringes and rock your beard, and make sure you put fringes on all your clothes, and you'll get the win. So that's gonna get me the win. All right, when it comes to the hour of temptation, when we gotta deny this beast, and how he's gonna come down with you know great wrath, and he's gonna try to make us denounce our power and try to get us to take his charagma and bow down to his image. That's gonna help me. When the famine hits, when all type of things that we're gonna be met with in Jacob's trouble, that we all gonna have to endure. You're not gonna be looking upon that. It's gonna lie from within what you're gonna do. All right. And that's why faith is very important. All right, the just shall live by faith and not by sight, man. Hebrews 12:1, it says, wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience. All right, because all that run, we run in a race, right? It says, and let us run with patience. We got to have the patience of Job. Look at what he had to endure. Yahweh Shai, you know, he had to have patience. And he even told his disciples, and your patience possess you your souls. And the word patience means to suffer. It says, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith. He's our example that we look to. If you want to win this game, look to Yahweh Shai, man. They're telling you, no, look to the 613 commandments in the Torah. Well, we're looking to Yahweh Shai, who's the embodiment of the law, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, the humiliation, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High, which is the greatest prize that you can ever receive. All right, achieving the authority and the honor of being the Most High's right hand. Come on, man. So he went through the obstacle course before us, and he showed us how it was done. And he stayed within the rules, and he even shared the rules with his disciples. And but you're gonna tell me that they was without sin? Did they strive according to the law of Moses? Well, they plucked off the ears of the corn. They plucked some corn on the Sabbath day. So you would have condemned them for breaking the Sabbath, and that's what they was trying to do. They confronted Yahushua about that. Come on, man. It says, "For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. You have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin." And it might boil down to that we might have to, you know, give up our life. You know, some of us it's already written in the prophecy that some of us are going to be, beheaded for the witness or the testimony of Yahweh Shai. He even gave warning to his disciples that he said, some of you they're gonna betray, some of you they're gonna scourge in the synagogue, some of you shall they put to death. And you had that happen, man. It was heavy persecution. All right. Well, we got to deal with that in this day and age with Esau wanting to come down, and then also dealing with enemies in the truth. That spirit is going to turn up, man. And some dude's going to want to try to get physical and carnal. It might even be pressed to try to take brothers' lives. So anyway, I just want to use this because Yahweh Shai is the example, man. And he showed the men that came up under him the example, and they showed the example. Now let's go to Philippians 3, because if we're gonna strive, meaning we fighting the good fight of faith, we're contending for the faith, which we war in a good warfare. We have to be a good soldier, and that means that you got to go through all these conditions, man. It's a fight. Hey, Ephesians is the 6th chapter, man. The Lord told us to basically be equipped. If you're gonna be a soldier, hey, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against spiritual wickedness against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we're up against, man. It's all spiritual. So in order to, fight through that, endure through that, you know, continue to have faith, put on the breastplate of righteousness. All right. Wear the helmet of salvation, and the shield of faith. And our sword is the word. And we stay within confines of the words that Yahweh Shai taught us. All right. He dropped the protocols. All right. Walking in the spirit. That's pretty much, the rule. Stay in the spirit. Don't walk in the flesh. So anyway, this is Philippians 3 and verse I'll start at verse 4. It says, though I might have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he have whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. Circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of the Hebrews. All right, he was more of a Hebrew than a man that called himself guerrilla Hebrew. As touching the law, a Pharisee, concerning zeal, persecuting the church. Now, he was moving like how them zealots were. You know, persecuting the church, putting them to death, locking them up. He even consented to Stephen's death, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. Right? You other dudes can't even say that because you're not blameless. And we already went through that. We didn't did shows going into laws that we know that you can't keep. It says, but what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Hamashiach. Yet doubtless I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach, my Lord. All right, Adawanya, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Hamashiach, and be found in them, not having mine own righteousness, because the Lord already has a standard of righteousness set apart from the law. The standard of righteousness he was looking for is the faith of Abraham, the level of faith that Abraham had. All right. It says, but that which is through the faith of Hamashiach, the righteousness which is of the Most High by faith, that I may know him in the power of his resurrection, in the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if I by any means I might attain unto resurrection of the dead, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after. Okay, basically, not that I already, you know, attained, to perfection, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which I am apprehended of a Mashiach Yahushai. Right? Let me get the other translation. NLT, it says, I don't mean to say that I have already achieved these things or that I have already reached perfection, but I press on to possess that perfection for which Hamashiach Yahushai first possessed me. That's the perfection you're looking for, man. You're looking to be perfected under Yahushai, not in the letter, because you're not going to do that. That's not going to happen until the new covenant. Okay? It says, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark of the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Yahushai Mashiach. Let's look up these words. I press towards the mark. And the word is skapas. And it says an observer, a watchman, the distant mark looked at, the goal or in one has in view. All right, like when you on the track, all you looking towards is, the finish line to get that victory so you can get that medal. And you trying to come in first place. You want that golden medal. All right, well, look at that golden medal as the kingdom. Getting on the chariot, man, getting crowned by Yahushua. That's the goal. And you think you're gonna attain that by trying to keep the law perfect? You're gonna fail. All right? You're gonna fail, man. So let's go back and let's look up that word prize. And the word is brabion. And it says the award to the victor in the games, a prize, metaphorically of the heavenly reward for Christian character. All right, because like the scriptures say, what manner of man ought you to be in all holy conversation, right? and he's going to reward us according to our works. But it's going to be by the works of the law. You will not be able to stand in his sight, man. The Lord's going to see if you've mastered your spirit, man. Are you approved to the Most High? Have you shown yourself worthy and approved to him? Will you be able to stand before him? Have you done all to stand before the Son of Man? Okay. Well, those who the Lord chose before the foundation of the world, they already overcame. It's already predestined that they're going to get the victory. So hey, that eliminates what these guys are talking about right there. It ain't based on the works of the law. Just like how before Esau and Jacob were even born, before they even did good or bad, it was about the election. And those that happen to be part of the election, they're the ones that's called of this high calling to endure the race and finish it to the finish line so they can get that victorious win. Okay? So let's read it again. It says, I press toward the mark of for the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Hamashiach Yahushai. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, meaning spiritually mature, be thus minded. And if in anything you be otherwise minded, the Most High shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. All right. Let us walk in this mindset. Let's walk according to this standard. Let's go according to this law. All right, brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as you have us for an example. All right, as it says in 1 Corinthians 11, follow me, even as I follow Yahweh Shai. And he gave those ordinances, in 1 Corinthians 11. He gave the order of the church. It says, for many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are enemies of the cross of a Mashiach. They challenge that, man. They constantly coming up against it and don't even understand. These guys are showing that they're truly the enemies of the cross of a Mashiach. It says, whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, their own self-interest, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. They want that corruptible crown. They want the praise of men. They want all the popularity. They want to be the celebrity. They want the chief, high-ranking authority, flattering titles, yes men around them. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai, who shall change our vile body. Okay, and that's very important, because we're in these bodies of death. All right, we're under the bondage of corruption, so we need change, that it may be fashioned like unto His glorious body, talking about Yahushai, according to the working whereby He is even to subdue all things unto Himself. And once we make it to that point and we receive it, that's part of the reward. That's the victory. All right, that's the victory. That's the prize. That's the uh the crown, the mastery. After you mastered yourself in this sinful fleshly body, the Lord's going to give you a incorruptible body, man. That's going to be your reward. So I just wanted to do a response to that, man. I want to do a thorough breakdown lesson on it. As I made sure to play their their clip, which the first few minutes you got to hear how they, broke it down. You could see that these guys, they're harping on that law because, they still read, with that same veil over them. They truly don't see Yahweh Shai, man. All right. We trying to get the mastery and strive lawfully. We look into Yahweh Shai, how he ultimately did it. And even encouraged us and said that, hey, in the world you're gonna have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I already came to the world, meaning I already won. I already got the prize. So I'm just waiting on y'all to cross over. And hey, don't trip. I'm with y'all. These guys are saying no. You know we got to revert back to the first covenant. So hey, that's pretty much the lesson, man. I just want to go into that. I hope this was edifying. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. To the next lesson, Shalom.